Hey everyone, this is Dan from Valhalla Games. So this is the third and final concluding part of the Big Tiger build. So you can see the big cats in front of you. There's a few points on this table. So firstly, starting from the front, you can see the two Tiger 2s that were part of my Reasonable Hobby challenge that Rex sent me. You can find that on our podcast, valhallagames.net. You can find the link to where Rex challenged me to build those and show him the painting recipe. As well as those two, I also have shown before how to make both turrets out of one box. This one here being what we call a Porsche turret, but in actual fact I guess the Krupp turret is more accurate. You'll also be able to see in part 2 how I described the hatches for the turret, how they're magnetized going on to this one here. And you'll notice, as I said, I've got total green coverage over this one and total of the sort of Dunkelgelb base color coverage there, likewise here, so that those magnetized hatches can come off and go onto this one. And with the side skirts, it looks as if they've been ripped off. I suppose this one here looks as if it's a bit of an older vehicle that somehow survived. So I take that out of the way. So the recipe. So first of all, assembled the model as you saw in part 2 in a base spray of this one here, TS3 dark yellow spray by Tamiya. That was all over. Then when that was dry, basically what I did then over the primer which I described, that was all in part 2. What I did then was I did a spray of the XF67, so NATO green by Tamiya, and then finished that off with the NATO brown as well, which is XF68. Sorry guys, I painted over the number there. Basically what I did then was any areas of the sort of dark yellow color that were a bit too stark, I put a little bit of a sponging of Model Air dark yellow by Vallejo on it, and that's the number there, just to knock back the creaminess of it, but I did leave a lot of it coming through. It's particularly pleasing with the ambush camouflage, as you can see here. Then what I did is I sponged dark yellow, the same color but dark yellow from the XF60 from the pot, with a sponge from my my model blister packs over top of the NATO green and brown, knocked that back, and then put on the ambushed spots in the relevant colors. And you can find how to do that on more or less any sort of modeling video by scale modelers normally, if you can't find it in a good reference book. But you know, maybe have a look at the way I've got it here. So that was really good. I was really pleased to get through the end of that. Then moving on, I have got the Tiger 1 late production variants. So on these ones here, with the same base coat down, then I did go over it with the Dunkelgelb, which I just showed you, the dark yellow color with Model Air, and I put this much more liberally on. The reason for that is that this pattern cam looked much more pleasing, slightly yellower rather than the creamier look that the dark yellow XF60 pot and the dark yellow spray gave. Slightly different browns in this one, so, and greens for that matter. So this one here is Armour Brown, 71.041 by Model Air. That was airbrushed on, and then the Cam Dark Green 71019 went on as well. To be honest, they gave it a really stark greens and browns, and I was a little bit worried. But once I sponged on some of the dark yellow by Vallejo, it knocked it back sufficiently. You'll notice on these ones here, I have given along with the King Tigers. Both sets have got the sort of earth with the grass in it, and that is a fantastic effect. This one here, so Vallejo environment, mud and grass. Now the purpose of this was, didn't necessarily want to replicate a winter or a a particularly muddy effect. What I've got is I've got a little bit on there. I have then sprinkled on little parts of a light weathering powder. In this case it's a Forge World Dark Sand. You don't need that, guys, just anything sort of sandy if you want to replicate this sort of colour. And I suppose what I've sort of replicated here, same with the Tiger 2s, is I've just gone for some sort of sinkage into some sort of earth, but just the sheer weight of it carrying it down, a little bit of clumps and a little bit of sort of drier earth drying on it. So pretty happy with the result of these. Again, the MGs on both of them, and the turret hatch on one. The turret hatch on one of them is removable. That was during my experiments to see how to store them away in the carrying bag much more safely. And of course, the hatch being removable if it needs to be for a scenario or something like that, or to depict a tank commander or something. As per the Big Tiger Build Part 2 video, I can put a magnetized commander in it. And the third cam pattern I've gone for is this one here, and I'm really happy with this. So this one is the Tunisian / Sicilian / Italian mainland early production Tiger 1H. And any of you history buffs out there might realise that that number on that tank, those who don't know, I didn't either until I did some research, so I don't blame you. However, there were 17 Tigers that are known to be in Sicily at the time of the Allies' invasion, and of the 17, only one escaped and was evacuated across the Straits of Messina to mainland Italy to continue fighting, and that is this serial number 222. Now, the Sicilian Tigers were employed really badly once they were given from the heavy armour battalions to the Hermann Göring division. That was misemployed. They weren't sure how to maintain it correctly. A lot of them suffered from breakdowns, were abandoned, some of them were knocked out. But yeah, that's this one that escaped. So it just gives me the flexibility. The cam as well is also pretty pleasing because it can replicate the Tunisian one as well as Sicily / Italy. And as well as that, it's also very, very close to the pattern that was at Kursk, although the Kursk sort of pattern may be slightly thinner, sort of stripes of that lighter green. Now, the colour which I've used for that green, the base colour which I've used is exactly the same mix. So the spray of the dark yellow, okay, followed by on the low areas the the Vallejo dark yellow, which we've discussed already. As well as that, we've got a darker green colour on there. Now that one there is actually a Foundry paint system paint, and that's actually 29A moss. So 29A moss, and unfortunately that bottle is burst on me and I had to get rid of it, so I can't show it in front of you today, which is what I like to do for these videos. However, that's also the colour which I use for my base coat of my Fallschirmjäger smocks. There's a little bit of battle damage there. If I zoom in a bit closer, a little bit of damage there on various parts. The muddy footprints around the cupola to get into the vehicle, the hatches, and yeah, really happy. That's the Tiger I wanted. Seen from this angle, we can see the that's how after the initial problems with the this side being too short. Remember, I cut this rear fender off and put it on there, rear mudguard. I've changed out this flash suppressor, muzzle brake for a for the one of the plastic ones off the Krupp or Porsche turret's muzzle brake from the King Tiger, and in so doing really got me a Tiger early production that I'm completely happy with. The air filters there look really cool. It's really defining piece of kit, and to me, I've said this before, it's my favorite tank, and yeah, it really is a definitive armored fighting vehicle when I think of the Germans for me. So there we go, guys. The big Tiger build all finished. Thank you very much for everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the whole project coming to an end. There's some fantastic versatility, I think, in the vehicles I've created, different theatres and stuff like that. And I hope it's inspired you to go and yeah, build some of these just for the joy of doing it, and the thought of putting it into specific scenarios, even if they're challenging to fit into I guess a generic army list or a competitive list. Go and have some fun. If you love these vehicles, or whatever vehicle you love, go and give them some love. Put them on the table and really enjoy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you back soon with another episode of Valhalla Games podcast, and also Valhalla Games on YouTube. Let's see what we've got in store for you soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.